right, welcome to Primos for Life, the wrestling podcast made for the fans, by the fans. Como siempre, yo soy Eddie, el niño vaque. We got Ariel, the Ecuadorian dream bisueta, and we are your self-proclaimed, undisputed co-host tag team champions of the world. On tonight's episode, Ariel and I break down all 5 matches from WWE Backlash 2025, which is happening this weekend, sharing our thoughts and predictions for each matchup. We also give a quick recap of this week's Monday Night Raw, plus some notable mentions from NXT and AEW that caught our attention. So, como siempre, sit back, grab a snack, and let's get it on. ¿Cómo estás, primo?
I'm great, man. I'm fantastic. It's been a wonderful, wonderful week so far. Some great wrestling on Raw, and the Knicks are, I know the wrestling podcast, but the Knicks are up 2-0 on Boston. We walked into their house and stole 2 games after being down 20. So I'm good, man. I'm excited. I'm having a good one. How about you, man? ¿Todo bien?
Yeah, man. I mean, you're right. It's a great week for sports and sports entertainment, right? Monday Night Raw was fantastic. I was able to catch a little bit of NXT and AEW. I have some call outs about that. Also fantastic. And have you noticed something on my head? Huh?
I did. I didn't want to say anything when we first got on, but yeah, you're going with it, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I saw, I was funny. I thought about you. I think it was yesterday. I had to take a run to the mall and I saw like a store that's printing up shirts and stuff. And I was like, so this is that he's spending his time here now?
Yeah, pretty much. Just doing some mock-ups and just, just trying to get an idea. You know what I mean? And for those that are listening
Awesome.
and not watching, right?
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. What I tried to point out was that we have a Primos for Life Ecuadorian edition cap, right? A trucker hat.
Yeah.
Because I'm in Florida, so it just naturally makes sense for me to, have
a trucker
breathable hat.
Yeah, no, because you put that fitted on, you'd be dying, man.
Yeah.
Like, that's just unnecessary. Just no. So yeah, breathable is definitely where you got to go. I've learned that as I've gotten older. I was like, yeah, no, I need the breathable ones. These fitteds are no.
Yeah, no. That fitted is like early 2000s, bro. Snapbacks are legit.
Yeah. I'll even take my Knicks hat. The one I had was the adjustable one with the strap in the back.
Oh yeah. That's
so I'm just like, yeah, I'll do this.
Yeah, I like those too, though. Those are very beachy over here, so those are good. But yeah, man. Overall, really, really solid week of wrestling. Monday Night Raw, I thought was way better than last week. I feel like pace wise and segment wise and the way everything flowed the whole night, it was perfect. It made sense. I kind of wish it was like that last week, but I guess it makes sense. You gotta, not everything's gonna be a home run, right? I mean, there are gonna be days out of 52 weeks of the year that not every Raw is gonna be perfect, and this one is close to it. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it.
This was a very solid Raw. It was. I actually enjoyed it a good amount of it. There was only maybe like 1 or 2 things where I was like, all right, like come on. But I thought it was overall just a very, very solid episode. So quite happy.
Yeah. But let's jump right into it. So Monday Night Raw opens straight out of Iowa.
Well, before we jump into it, why don't we just let everybody who's listening know the plan for this particular episode? We're going to be breaking down Monday Night Raw from this past week, and then we're going to be doing our Backlash preview. Yeah. With our picks and stuff like that. So we just to kind of give everybody a heads up, if you're hoping for a Backlash preview, you are going to get one. You just have to listen to us drone on about Raw. So we suckered you into it.
No, that's fair. That's actually really good that you mentioned that. Because it will be a Backlash preview and predictions episode, but we'll run through everything else that happened during the week fairly quickly. It shouldn't be too bad. No. And but like we were saying, going back into Monday Night Raw, coming straight out of Iowa, we opened up with a replay of Sammy getting destroyed last week. Man, that whole segment is wild, but definitely appropriate, for this episode, because then it's revealed that it's basically just setting up what happens that episode. So really good. Right. Obviously people are always walking in, getting that superstar feel. And then Jey Uso comes out to the ring, right? And, you know, it's about to celebrate and, you know, just being Jey Uso, but then surprisingly gets interrupted by Paul Heyman, which I wasn't expecting. I was like,
I did not see this either.
yeah.
Considering he came out and he was like, well, first of all, there was a lot. I have mucho yeeting, like so much yeeting.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, all right, man. Like then they were like, one more time, and I was like, no, dude, we don't need to do this again. Like, come on. I love Jey Uso. No, I was just like, all right, man, this is like 6-7 minutes straight, just yeeting
all over the place.
I was just leading all over the place. So it's like, all right, well, okay, here we go. But yes, no, you're correct. I'm sorry. I'll let you continue. But yeah, because he has this angle currently with Logan Paul.
Yeah,
the Paul Heyman aspect was definitely out of left field. So go ahead.
For sure. Yeah, no, it was really good, and I love the interaction. Especially, you know, we tend to forget that there's a history there because of the bloodline and everything that went on. Because Jay has really solidified himself as a solo superstar now. That when we saw these two together and rehashing history and basically almost like Paul Heyman having a therapy session there by really unleashing his feelings towards Punk, towards Roman, towards the bloodline, and towards everything that's happening. I thought that was really, really good. It was different. You know what I mean? And Paul did such a tremendous job. Like, that guy is a tremendous entertainer. Like, he really is the best.
Absolutely.
Like,
He's that heel work that he was putting on that entire speech and everything was great because, like you said, he brought up a lot of the reasons that he did what he did. And I think it was an interesting way to bring that out in this particular moment with Jey Uso and not do it, when you have Reigns or Punk in the ring. But obviously, of course, because we're in the market of wrestling, there's going to be a story told. So we're watching it unfold. Yeah.
And what I really loved about the segment was after Paul Heyman says his piece, Jay was like, "Are you okay?" It was just like,
well, because Heyman was losing for Amanda was downstairs watching something with me, and she was like, "Man, the tan and the sweat on this dude." She's like, she's like, "Is he gonna be okay?" And I was like, "Oh." And then Jay was like, "You okay?" I was like, "Yes, okay. We're not the only ones."
Yeah. And what was really good too is like that clip has turned into like an instant meme for like, when I, like when a wife tells their husband like they're having a rough day, this and that, and he comes back with the, "Are you okay?"
Like, okay, like, yeah.
Yeah. But no, super awesome segment, and basically, ultimately summing up that whole interaction to really just for Paul Heyman to really tell Jey Uso that, hey, not only he knows that he wants the title, right? Jey Uso wants the title, but Seth Rollins needs the title because with the title comes power and comes with everything that they're trying to initiate with this plan. Part A or part one of the plan was getting Braun Breaker on board. Part two of the plan is now getting their hands on this title.
Getting their hands on the belt.
Yeah. So really, really cool segment. But ultimately leading to like him tricking him, right? To try to let him pick when and where, but Jay being Jay.
Paul Heyman. Yeah, it's Paul Heyman. So, and revealed later on that it's there's a reason. But I did want to bring something in that I did enjoy. The whole woe is me Heyman aspect of the promo, where he was like, CM Punk forced my hand, my best friend forced my hand, Roman Reigns forced my, he wasn't there when I built this bloodline. I did it for 5 years. I made him the guy. I took this dog off the island and I made him the tribal chief, and I made him wrestling's biggest thing. I did that. And he was just like, and then, when he lost, because he did lose, and when he lost, he didn't come back for me. He came back for his Ula Fala. He left me in the hands of the Tongans, and Solo and Fatu. And I was like, this is great.
Deep.
Like, I was digging. I was like, yeah. And then he was like, Punk. He's like, what does he expect me to do? I'm trying to help him live out his dream. And then Reigns gets upset, and I was like, yes, this is absolutely fantastic. And he was just like, when I wrote down, he's just like, I'm right. Screw you.
Yeah.
Get him, Paul. That's right. You have your reasons too, man. Damn that. But yeah, no, it was all in a message of, just so you know, this does pertain to you, Jey Uso. Seth wants a match. He's going to let you pick the time and the place.
Yeah, for sure. No, really good, awesome segment. I was really, really happy with this. So much so that I started watching it live, and I was like, I got to keep going. I got to see what happens. And then we get a little quick moving on to the next segment, right? Because that's ultimately Jay makes the choice of putting up the title on the line later on that night, setting up the main event for that evening. So once we past that segment, rather, we see a replay of Penta versus Dom and everything that's been going on the last 2 weeks between Penta and JD and the Judgment Day, ultimately leading to their match later on in the evening. But then we cut to Paul Heyman explaining the plan to Braun Breaker. Like, he's like, you understand what we're doing here? And Braun was like, I think I do. And he's just like, yeah. And then basically breaking down the fact that revealing the plan that Seth Rollins sent Heyman out there to purposely trick Jey Uso, because he knew that the type of fighting champion that he is, he wasn't going to pick a PLE or later down the road to do this match. It was going to happen. He's an emotional reacting person. So therefore he was like, no, we're going to do this now. And ultimately revealing that in order to do that, Jey Uso has so many other things distracting him that Seth Rollins is going to be perfectly ready to take this belt off of him. And that will initiate part two of the plan. And then whatever, because apparently there's parts to this plan, which is kind of crazy to think about. But yeah.
No, we gotta draw this out, man. Of course, there's gonna be many parts. There's gonna be like plot 2A, 2B, breakdowns of everything. No, it was funny because it was very much Seth Rollins like, I told you so. Like, I love to say that and da. So, but having him break it down for Breaker and being like, oh, okay, like let me clue you in, youngster. Like let me tell you what I'm doing here. And this is it. I thought that was really well done as well. Yeah, very good.
Yeah, super good. And then we get Penta versus JD. Penta gets the win. I mean, fantastic match, right? And I don't mean to blow through it because we have a lot kind of to cover, but fantastic match. You know, these two are fantastic. I'm really happy and proud of JD because I feel like, again, after his injury, he's just looking real clean, real good out there, and Penta never disappoints. But ultimately, leading to Penta getting the win due to interference from Chad Gable. Chad tries to mess up Penta, but ultimately fails, but ends up and allowing Penta to end up getting the win instead of making him lose.
Before Gable comes out, Finn and Carlito are tossed.
Right.
Because, of course, chicanery and tomfoolery. The ref catches him, so he tosses Finn and Carlito. So now you're like, okay, Penta's got the shot because now there's no one else there. And then, like you said, Gable comes out, ends up getting himself hurt, and Penta's still able to pull off the win with a fantastic Mexican Destroyer. And there was another good segment there where I thought a good work on JD's part. He did a really nice DVD, the Death Valley Driver on the apron with Penta. It's solidly executed. It was really nice. So overall, good match. I'm glad to see Penta get the dub. Of course, love Penta. This is how they're gonna get El Grande Americano in, and maybe this is where he loses and is unmasked as Gable or whatever it's supposed to be. Who knows? But good work, and then just a win by Penta. Awesome.
Yeah. And it's actually pretty crazy that also, side note, right? El Grande Americano has won the Speed Championship, right? Wins the title way before Chad Gable. Isn't that crazy?
When I tell you that they should give to Chad Gable, I was like, I'm make it like that. I was like, give him the Speed Championship. Give him the Speed Championship. See?
But it was not Chad. It's El Grande Americano guy.
Yeah, man.
So you're wrong.
You're right. I'm still wrong.
But then ultimately that sets up the next segment with Grayson Waller tricking Austin Theory to swap out for his match because of the opponent. And when Austin Theory tries to find out who it is, he's like, oh, it's a surprise. Don't worry. You got this. And it's the re-return of Sheamus, right? Did he return like 3 months ago?
Yeah, somebody, man. He came back looking a little thick, so maybe he looked better. He looked thinner this time around.
A little bit leaner,
yeah. I mean, he was still sweating. Yeah. You can see him after that move. He was like, oh. There was a couple. I was like, damn, dude, calm down. Yeah. Slow it down. But Waller now, this is where you start to see the rift in A-Town Down Under. Because now, at one point, they was like, why would you do this to me, man? Like, what? And then Sheamus came and started pounding him on the chest. So it was good. It was, like I said, nice setup. Good to see Sheamus come back. Fine,
Yeah.
I kind of want to see the A-Town Down Under be done anyway. I think they can rework Theory. I think they can use him well. He's good. He's good. So I want to see what they can do.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. But ultimately, okay segment, understandable segment for like a kind of like a mid-card situation. So perfect for the middle of Raw or like towards the beginning of Raw. So I liked it. I had no problem with it. But then we jump into the Judgment Day segment where AJ penetrates the Judgment Day clubhouse. Right?
He just penetrates it.
He just penetrates that sucker. He's like, it was easy to find, he says. It was like, it wasn't that hard. Yeah, truth, right. So, infiltrates, maybe is a better word instead of penetrates. It's a little aggressive, just a little. But then says a little what's up to Finn, calling him Prince, right?
Shout out. I was hoping you clocked that because he was like, "What's up, Prince?" I was like, "Ah,
yeah, little Bullet Club action
Bullet Club.
Awesome little gems there, but ultimately he goes in there to tell Dominic that whether he wins or loses at Backlash, that he's coming for the IC title. So
right.
Yeah. So it causes a scuffle, not a scuffle, like ruffling within the Judgment Day clubhouse. Dominic, here you go. And then we get Dominic, stressing out. And he's like, "Well, I have too much going on, this and that with Penta." This and he goes, "Finn, why don't you take care of him? Like, AJ, right? So why don't you take care of it for me?" So Finn acts all big and bad and is like, "Oh, so I'm just supposed to, clean up all the stuff for you? Of course, bud, I'll do it for you." And I was just like,
we're Judgment Day,
yeah. And I'm just like, "Oh, Finn, stop." But quick side note on this though. I don't know if you saw this on the internet, right? But there's an idea for a new sub Judgment Day or a new group, right? That includes Finn,
okay,
right? AJ,
okay,
Julia, Roxanne, and JD, because obviously he's loyal to Finn.
Really?
Yeah, there's like an idea swerving. Either they'll take over the Judgment Day or they'll become their own thing. But I kind of like it.
I mean, AJ and Finn is fantastic.
Money.
Roxanne and Julia are going to be. I mean, I love Roxanne Perez. So that's actually, that sounds pretty cool. That's kind of dope, actually.
Yeah, I'd be down to see that, or see if they allude to something like that. Right. But then we move on to the New Day and Chad Gable running into each other, having a discussion about handling the War Raiders, and basically in exchange for a tag team opportunity towards American Made. And then Becky Lynch walks through, and I don't really care about that.
Xavier was like, "It's messed up with what Larry did you." She's like, "Thank you," and they just kept it going. And I was like, all right.
Heels. It's like a heels support group there.
Well, that's what it is. Well, I mean, that's what you need. You need someone who understands you, someone who gets your vibe. So it was, No, I mean, I figured the setup. I was like, okay, Becky Lynch is coming out. Here we go. Let's get into it, and let's get into it. It was her coming out and just being, I've been here. I took out the garbage with Bailey, and then I took out the recycling because it's not as bad as garbage, but it still has to go out. And taking out Lyra, nobody said, thank you. That's what's supposed to be said. Cha 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 cha. And then Lyra's music hits. She comes out and she's like, "You want to talk about recycles? He was using the same shtick for however many years now." I was like, "Yeah, let's do this." So fun segment for them to do it. I was hoping it would be shorter and quicker, but it wasn't. But
I mean, for me, I thought it was quicker than last week's, and I thought it was better than last week's.
It was both of those things, but I still think I was just like, okay, I get it.
But yeah, we get it, right? It's solidified. You guys hate each other. You all see each other at Backlash. It's all good. We get it.
Roll on.
But moving on to the next match, which is Roxanne Perez versus Io Sky. Really, really good match.
Oh, love this match. I mean, I love Roxanne Perez and Io Sky.
Yes.
These are two of my favorites. You know that. I've been saying about both these girls for forever. So I was like, oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah.
And glad to see a clean ending. To see a clean ending. I thought that whole last 45 seconds of like 2-second count, flip over, 2-second count, flip over, 2-second count, flip over. For anyone who didn't see it, they just kept inverting and re-rolling and working and pinning each other until finally Io had one where she threw her arm in between Perez's legs and just kind of clipped down, pinned her 1, 2, 3, and got the dub, which was great because, I mean, women's champion, so you have to keep her clean. Roxanne takes a loss, which, I mean, she's new on the block, got to earn your stripes. Cool. And then in was a very surprising moment at the end, a show of good faith from Roxanne in terms of shaking the hand of Io Sky and saying, hey, great match. And then she exits and Io stands in the ring and she's clapping and giving props to Roxanne as she's walking down the ramp when out of nowhere from behind comes
Randy Orton.
That's right, the female Randy Orton, Julia. She always had purple hair flowing. But yeah, she came out and then they proceed to work Io over as Rhea Ripley, we are told, is in Australia.
Yeah.
So no backup for Io. So
no backup.
They just work Io over and like kick her in the face. Sorry, Io. Good night.
Yeah. I will say though, real quick before we move on to the next segment, really impressed with Roxanne Perez. I mean, I know you've been very supportive of her this whole time, but to see her on like I'll say a bigger stage on Raw, she really could hold her own and she's really good. Like was really shocked. Like I knew Julia coming from New Japan and other things, like I knew she was already good. So, but I wasn't really watching NXT that much during Roxanne's time, even though technically they're still announced as NXT stars.
Yeah.
Which I also wanted to note that, but, fantastic. She's really good. And I can't wait to see what else they end up doing with her for sure. Yep. She's really good.
Yep, she's great.
And then we got Rusev versus Otis. Basically what we expected. Rusev coming in and clearing up house, destroyed Otis, destroyed Tozawa.
Poor Tozawa, man. Poor Tozawa. Well, the one thing I will give this match is that they did a good job of building Otis as someone who could stand up to Rusev.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of times that Rusev would try to like shoulder block him and stuff like that, and Otis just wasn't moving. So I was like, okay, good. Like you're building him as someone who's strong here too, because that's also the point of the whole Rusev thing is I'm going to redeem you and I'm going to make you see that you have these gifts and you're wasting them for you'd rather dance into a caterpillar or whatever it is. But yeah, and then I was happy because like he beat the hell out of Otis, and then Tozawa like stand tall. He's like, man, me and you right now, me and you. And Rusev was like, no, you know what, I'm gonna back off. And he walked up. I was like, okay, see, he's not gonna waste his time with poor little Tozawa. And then
he was like, nah,
I was so wrong, and I was so upset that I was wrong because poor Tozawa, man. He just came out and he didn't even work Tozawa over that bad, but I just like Tozawa. I don't want to see him get hurt. And then he just really abused Otis and just dismantled him and finished him off.
No, love the segment, love how strong Rusev is. I agree with you on the Otis part. I feel like for two big men colliding like that, they did a way better job than the way that they did with Jacob and Braun Strowman, like way Braun got easily destroyed by Jacob. I feel like you're right, a little bit of pushback, a little bit more of like, hey, I may not beat you this time, but I could beat you. Maybe I could beat you next time kind of situation. I like that better. You know what I mean? So that's good. Good call out.
I'm still 333-pound dude who, like,
don't sleep on me, dude.
Exactly.
But then we get Adam Pearce coming out to kind of clean up the mess after the whole breakup, and then introducing Pat McAfee and Gunther for their face-off. Ultimately, for me, really quickly, I'll just say that I enjoyed Gunther's fire and anger. I really do hope Gunther destroys Pat McAfee at Backlash, and that is it. That is all I'll say about that.
I was, of course, McAfee's going to play to the crowd. We're here, we're in the Cornhuskers and Omaha and the stakes and there's the coach and there's the football guy. And great. But yeah, no, I he told the story. I put in the beginning, I was like, this is, and then when Gunther started getting fired up at the end, I was like, okay, better. At least a better. I'm still not a Walter guy at all, but I was like, okay, at least this puts a good finish on this. So fine. But I was like, all right, McAfee, like, yes. And I mean, that's if he doesn't destroy him, like, then
what are we doing?
I'm figuring McAfee's due for a vacation or something. I don't know, because the only way you make this match he doesn't destroy him is unless you have someone return to get involved and help. But I don't know if Gunther has anyone like that in his past that would come back outside of the dude he kicked out of Imperium. Like other than that, I don't know. So, but we'll leave that to the Backlash preview. But promo was okay. Fire can saved it.
Yeah. It's funny how he loses his title and now he's Walter. He's not Gunther anymore to you.
No, he's always been Walter. He's always going to be Walter. It's Walter. Because look, wait, note, McAfee, Walter's ass. I wrote Walter's ass.
Awesome. And then before the main event of the night, we get Randy versus Cena video package. Again, really, really selling the 20-year history that these two have, building up to their match, which in a way, I kind of like that they're doing this because you could do it through a video package without having them both physically needing to be there. Right. So I like that. That's actually kind of cool.
Well, you have plenty of clips, and they showed, I think it was the I Quit match. Where Cena won the belt. The one thing I will say is the last couple of clips they've showed, Cena stood tall in all of them. I haven't seen any of these video montages where Randy's gotten the dub. So not to say anything about it, but just
just a really keen observation.
Yeah.
Just calling it out. Watch next episode. I told you, look. Yeah. No, but we jump into Seth versus Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship. Overall, awesome match. I loved every bit of this match. It was hard hitting. It was great. Jey really does look like a star, like a solo star. Like half the moves are still in like the Usos repertoire, but the fact that I don't even think Uso anymore. I just think Jey Uso is fantastic. He's really found a way to make it his own. He looks good out there. He looks good as a champion. I could believe that he's a fighting champion, and I could believe that he's going to be one of those champions that he'll, leave it all on the mat, blood, sweat, and tears, and barely could be moving, but he'll still fight. You know what I mean? And I like what they're doing with Jey. But then basically, and then obviously you'll correct me or insert anything if I missed anything, right? But basically, they got through their match. Braun interferes. Seth is trying to get the win. Jey kicks out. Sammy comes out to help, but then ends up attacking Braun Breaker. Jey almost gets the win, but then Braun spears Sammy. Jey goes and checks on Sammy, but then Braun spears Jey, and then Seth Rollins was about to win, but then we get CM Punk coming out to save the day. And the only thing that I wrote on this additional note that I wrote in here was, so there's no bell, the match is over, right? Because the ref was still in there. Yeah, Seth was about to be pinned, and CM Punk comes out, and then no bell, match not over.
I mean, disqualification is the assumption on this one, because it's just because I was waiting for it too. I'm like, okay, well, match is obviously over, but no one's called anything. I'm like, so now this is going to be a thing where I didn't lose the match. I want a rematch. Whatever. But
okay, good. But yeah, I didn't think that far ahead.
I mean, the part 2 of the plan is to get him the belt,
right?
So they have to kind of do this now. But the one thing, funny moment in the match, I don't know if you noticed it. Suicide dive. Jey lost his shoe.
Yeah. Awesome.
Always love things like that. Like every time Jey lost his shoe, no. But Sami Zayn coming out, I thought was, because I sat there and Amanda was with me down here, and I was like, oh, well, I think maybe we're getting a Roman sighting today. So there's gonna be some kind of interference of somewhere. So when I heard Sami Zayn's music, I was like, oh, okay, all right. I said, I guarantee his ribs are gonna be taped. Guarantee his ribs are gonna be taped. Sure enough, ribs were taped. But I was like, okay. And then the cool thing is that Breaker came around to like go down to the ramp to like get Zayn, and Zayn hopped in through the crowd. Yeah, so like hit him from the side. That was dope. So yeah, and then a bunch of close pinfalls. Like I'm sitting there and I was like, oh, this is, because I wasn't expecting Uso to kick out once. I wasn't expecting Rollins to kick out one time. I was like, oh damn, like yeah. And then when you hear CM Punk's music hit, I was just like, okay. And then he comes down with the chair and just starts working everybody over. I was like, all right, yep, great. Like
match over? Question mark?
Yeah, sure, fine, maybe. Executive producers Paul Levesque. Yeah. But no, solid. Good way to kind of set everything up. Like I said, Uso technically gets the loss there because he came in and hit Rollins with the chair.
Right.
So wait for Rollins to be like, no, I want another match, and then we'll see how Punk figures in now with Heyman and Breaker and Zayn, things like that.
Yeah. No, overall, great way to end Monday Night Raw. Great episode. I was very entertained and really, really like happy with it, and I'm excited to see Backlash and how that turns out, and then whatever happens on SmackDown too. So overall, really good stuff, and I'm sure SmackDown isn't going to be too crazy because you got to set up solidify those matches that are happening from the SmackDown side on Backlash. So it shouldn't be too crazy.
Yeah, because so just so everybody knows, we're taping on Thursday before Backlash, so we will not have a SmackDown preview this week. But as Eddie said, it should be relatively easy, straightforward.
Yeah. And quick call out for for wrestling in general for this week before we get into our Backlash preview and predictions. I want to call out that Trick Williams will be going against Joe Hendry at Battlegrounds in Tampa for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. And your boy is going to be there. So I can't wait to see that
match. Whip that Trick?
Yeah. Well, no. I believe in Joe Hendry.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Because I like both those dudes. That's going to be a fun match.
It's going to be a great match. And Jordan Grace versus Stephanie Vacar at Battlegrounds as well. That looks really good. I'm excited for that. I've been waiting for that match. I'm sure it's going to be spectacular. So I'm excited, again, that I'll be there in the building to watch that one. Quick AEW call-outs. They're setting up Will Ospreay versus Hangman. Their segment together at the opening of AEW was really good. Actually got me really interested in watching their match in, I believe it's for Double or Nothing on May 25th. And then the Hurt Syndicate segment was really good because those guys are really, really like that. Their money. That's it. I mean, and basically what ends up happening is, so for the last couple of weeks, MJF has been trying to like become a part of them. Bobby Lashley's like, no, I don't trust you. I don't like you. So the segment was basically, they came out, they were like, hey, we're the best. We're the best tag teams. Where are you guys at? Top Flight comes out. And in the midst of trying to have them, set up a match, MJF comes out, beats them both up, comes back into the ring, gets in Bobby's face and says, I hurt people. And it was like really solid, like segment. It's like, dang, is he winning over Bobby? Will MJF become part of the Hurt Syndicate? Stay tuned. So
only
really
a matter
good.
of time.
Yeah. It's super good. So
nice.
By the excitement in my voice, you could hear like that. Nice. It was a good segment. So you should definitely check those out.
I'll go and check it out. I'll get on Max and give that a look.
Yeah, for sure. And then ultimately just a lot of great setups for matches or set up, basically feuds or rivalries going towards Double or Nothing. A lot's going on there. It was a really good overall solid episode. But again, those are just the two quick call outs that really sparked my interest. I was like, okay, maybe I'll tune in the next couple of weeks to see how Will Ospreay does and what the Hurt Syndicate does with MJF. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Good stuff. All right, Senor, are you ready to jump into Backlash 2025?
Yeah, I mean, luckily, I don't say luckily, but Backlash appears to be a card of just 5 matches. So I'm quite ready to jump right on in, as it's relatively easy. And I mean, for me, I think a lot of this is just kind of formulaic. I'm sorry to say that. I don't want to sound like I'm bored with the product or anything like that, but I just think with everything that happened at Mania and setting up for, like I said, Money in the Bank coming up, SummerSlam coming up, everything like that, this is just kind of like tell some stories, move some things along, create some new storyline, not new storylines, but like, build some added things. Because I don't think this is the last we'll see of Cena or Orton. But yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready when you are. So let's let's go.
So opening match or starting match, logically would be Gunther versus Pat McAfee. Obviously the pick there is Gunther both ways, at least for me. I don't know. How about you? What are you thinking?
I think logically it's Walter. I say it, but Walter. The fan pick, I'm gonna go just because I think people would lose their minds if McAfee won. And I think people would just it would be because of the way that the card is built. Now, once again, this is for fan reaction purposes only. because of the way the card is built, and because, like I said, I think it will be so formulaic. Think a McAfee win here would just be the thing that everybody would remember about this particular PLE. So, for fan reasons and fan enjoyment reasons, that's why I said that. But logically, it's Walter.
Yeah, but now that you said it, it makes sense because now his friends that could get over the barrier could help and end up getting him the win. Because clearly they're unstoppable, you know?
Or totally stoppable if you're WWE security who couldn't stop anything else.
Right, exactly. So, oh man, okay. Well, and you wrote these down because, you know, you always like to tally and make sure.
I got Walter here, and yes, I have you.
Stop calling him Walter.
Sorry, man. I'm sorry.
All right, and then we get the next match, which should be which I think this will be higher in the card, but I have it down for the Intercontinental Championship match between Dominic and Penta. I'm sure that'll be like second to last or third to last. It's got to be. I mean, but I know for you, right? I'm sure you're gonna go Penta.
No, because you can't pull the belt off Dominic. You can't. It's too soon.
Yeah.
You've been building this run with him for quite some time and everything, and I don't see how you could just stop the momentum like that, especially with Liv Morgan not there right now, and then you're building this possible thing with Finn and AJ or what have you. So I'm not going to go Penta. I would love to see Penta get the gold. I think Dominic wins. I don't know if I'm assuming there's going to be some kind of involvement from Judgment Day, or possibly maybe Penta gets a win on Finn Balor doing something. You know, this may be a moment where Finn gets involved or something, and maybe he does something that makes it look like accidental, like, oh, I didn't mean for that to happen, and that's how you got disqualified, like something like that. So I'm going to go Dom here, logical. But once again, for fan purposes, I would go Penta. But yes, no, logically, I think that you have to keep it on Dom. You have to build this thing with him, especially if you if you're planning on removing Finn the way you should, and possibly starting the faction that you were talking about earlier. You got to get that riff going, but you have to keep the belt on Dom, I think, as a result, to make that work.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I will pick Dom, both logical and fan pick, but how fun would it be if that did end up happening, right? Like you said, I kind of like that idea that Penta ultimately ends up getting the win because Finn Balor sabotages it. And the storyline for the breakup for Judgment Day will Liv and Raquel weren't there, right? Or Liv wasn't there, right? So it's like bad things happen when they're not together. So it's like now you have new recruitment opportunities for Dominic's Judgment Day versus like Finn Judgment Day, et cetera, kind of like a breaking of the NWO Black and White and NWO Red.
The Wolf Pack.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, interesting. But we'll see.
But I mean, we're both going so far. We're both on the board the same. But yeah, Dom, like I said, you just gave it to him. You can't really pull it.
Yeah. And then next we got the Fatal 4-Way for the U.S. Championship. Jacob Fatu versus La Noche versus Drew McIntyre versus Damian Cura. Priest?
La Cura?
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah,
fine.
Sure.
Sorry for all, we're Primos for life, and our Spanish is obviously terrible.
My English is not very good looking.
No good. No. Like Andrade. Yes. All right, so who you got here, brother?
Jacob. I mean, you can't. He's a monster. He's still got momentum. He's going to run through all these guys. And I say Jacob for logical pick, Jacob for fantasy pick, but or fun pick. But I wouldn't be surprised if Solo messes this up for him somehow.
Yep. Okay. I'm going to agree with you on both. I think Fatu wins, just hands down. Because he's a monster, because he's built so much time creating this monster, and finally gets the belt on him, and you're not going to want to pull it. Once again, similar to the Dom thing, you're not going to want to pull it too fast. The solo thing, I think would be kind of like a cool angle. I mean, they're moving things along fast, so maybe they would do something so fast. I think they may try and work it out differently for a little while. But I'm gonna go with Fatu as my pick, and as the fun pick. I mean, I'd like to see Priest win it. As a fun pick, I'd like to see Priest put some gold back on him. I think it's been, he lost that championship. He never got a chance to really get it back. Because he immediately got into the thing with Finn Balor afterwards, and then that took him out of the World Heavyweight Championship scene. So for fantasy and fun purposes, I'm gonna go DP. But of course, But of course, Fatu.
All right, man. I like it. And then we got the second to last match, which is the Women's Intercontinental Championship between Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch. Go ahead, man. The floor is yours. And moving on to the next match.
Logical pick is going to be Becky Lynch here.
What?
Yes.
No.
I think they find a way to screw over Lyra and put it on Becky. I think this is the one where you can move. This is the one match. The other match that you can do the swerve on, because honestly, the Gunther McAfee thing, like I said, would be awesome, but you can't really sell McAfee beating Gunther. Can't. Like McAfee said it. Gunther's been in championship 80% of the time. He's been there. He's been a champion. So this is the one I think you can kind of do, and it be people be okay with it because it's Becky and whatever. So logical pick is gonna be Becky, just because I know that they love Becky and they are, they're indebted to her because she's one of the best to ever do it. She's absolutely amazing. So I'm gonna go Becky there, and I'm gonna go Lyra as the fan pick because I like you. I'm just getting annoyed with some of these shots being taken from younger people because we just keep bringing back the veterans, similar to what you complain about with AEW. Which is why the Charlotte Flair thing was kind of annoying, but I was glad Tiffany got the win at Mania. But yeah, so I'm gonna go Becky Lynch is the logical pick for me, and the fan pick is Lyra.
I'm kind of mad I let you go first. I say
you walked into that one.
Yeah, I did. I say Lyra on both accounts, fan and logical. The only way that I see Becky winning is because I feel like Bayley's injury wasn't that hard or like that rough for her not to come back already. Okay. So maybe she'll come in, try to help Lyra, but ends up not helping her, and then Becky getting the win, and then that causes something between them, or causes something between Lyra and Bayley first before they could go and re-challenge for, Becky for the title again if she wins. But no, I'm sticking with Lyra. I think based on her promo on Monday, I feel like she did a really great job and she has a little bit of momentum, and I want her. Everybody hates Becky Lynch right now, and I feel like that's going to help her give her that extra inch to win. So that's where I'm at with that.
Okay. That makes sense. It makes complete and utter sense. Like I said, for something just bothers me about this whole thing. So I have like a nagging feeling. So that's why I'm like, Becky.
Becky. Right. All right. And then the main event of the night, we get the undisputed WWE Championship match between John Cena and Randy. What's his middle name? Is it Kenneth or Kendall?
Randall Kenneth Orton.
Randall Kenneth Orton. RKO. Yes. You go, right? You go on this one. No, I go, or because you went. I know. I was just pissed. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You remember that.
I mean, logical answer is John Cena. Fan pick is John Cena. I mean, because we just want. He's doing such a great job as a heel. I just want more of it, and I understand his time with the counter is limited, and it's going to be fewer and fewer, appearances. But two things I have feelings about when it comes to that. Right, I feel like that counter is full of crap. I think like even if he runs out of time, he's still going to show up because that's what a heel does. He's like, guess what? I lied to you. I'm gonna just do what I want. So maybe it's one of those situations where that's just in the back of our minds, but in reality, he's still going to show up, or he's just really going to play this I don't care thing all the way till the wheels fall off until his final match, where it's like, or until he becomes good again, right? Who knows? But ultimately, I think these are just still slow builds to get him back on the right path, and I think he needs a win after Mania as champion to fall harder from grace and come back to the good side kind of situation,
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Mhm.
I agree with you. I think the logical winner here is John Cena. Being an Orton guy, my fan vote's going to be Orton because I just love Randy Orton.
Yeah.
So yes, but I think Cena wins here. Yes, they have to continue this run that he's on with this amazing heel work that he's doing, and that's why I said I was kind of annoyed at the fact that they did Orton Cena so soon, because I would have liked to believe that Orton had a chance, because here I really don't believe that he does. Now, to your point, maybe 2 episodes ago that we did, you said doesn't necessarily mean it's the end if he loses now. They could be, bring back something for the SummerSlam or something for, then something in October, anything like that. So you're 100% correct there. But I'm going to go with Cena. So I'm going with Cena as a result, because once again, in the same reference of it's been a month, you can't pop the belt off him. Lyra's had that belt longer than anyone else on that card. So that's why I also think if any match is going to go where a belt switches, it's that one. So here, not at all. And you have to keep doing this great work. And then hopefully they can redo something with Orton later, or maybe find a way to have it not work out, or, Cena, dirty fighting or something like that. And then Orton wants a rematch the next PLE, something like that. Not sure.
Yeah.
But for me, Cena gets the win. Fan point would be Orton, because I just love Randy.
Yeah. You also got to keep in mind all the locations that they're going to the rest of the year, right? I mean, they still got to hit Paris. They announced Crown Jewel in Australia later on. There's just a lot of places that, MetLife for SummerSlam. Like,
that's right,
they're doing a whole bunch of things that during his time still there, he needs to show up as champion or as heel. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's it. I mean, that's the final match of the night. And did we not cover anything from this week thus far?
We did our recap for last week. We did everything. You got your points on NXT, did your points on AEW, we covered Raw, we did our picks and our predictions for this particular PLE, which will be on Saturday, and then we'll come back and do a review episode sometime next week.
Yeah, all right. And then let's take this opportunity. Final thoughts. Just super excited for Backlash. For the most part, I mean, there are a couple of matches there that I could live without, but you got to put something on the card. But for the most part, I feel like 3 out of the 5 matches are going to be good and entertaining and fun to watch, and just more exciting to see like what the possible outcomes are going to be and where we go from here, leading to SummerSlam and leading to all these other events that we just mentioned, Paris, Clash in Paris, all these things. But overall, I'm happy. I'm happy with wrestling. I'm happy with a couple of the things that we've been working on behind the scenes. Of course, we mentioned, we keep expanding. There are other things in the works, other episodes that are kind of come out closer towards the end of the month that I feel like our listeners are going to be super excited for. As you can see, creating prototypes of shirts and hats. So please let us know, listeners, what you guys think. If you guys catch this on Spotify or on YouTube, let us know, hey, let me get some of that. You know what I'm saying? So other than that, though,
I mean, really, I've had one of my boys already say he would buy this. I had a bunch of people already tell me they would buy the shirts. A bunch of the one that you gave me that says Dream on the back. I have a bunch of people who are like, I'd buy that shirt. I'd buy my. Actually, it's funny. Quick shout out to my sister-in-law's son, little Joe. He is a huge wrestling fan. Ooh. And when I went to my nephew's birthday the other day, he was there, and my sister-in-law Kelly, Karen's sister, was like, "Oh yeah, no, he was listening to your podcast, like coming into like to Aiden's party, like he was listening to it, and he listens to it, and he makes me listen to it. Big wrestling fan, and he's looking at me like, hey, you think maybe I could come on sometime?" I was like, "Oh, we got to see," because I'm like, get your grades up, you got to be good in school, I got to
good. Wow, you're such a father, man.
The good uncle thing. Well, I mean, I'm looking at his father, and his father's like, you know what to do, and I'm like, yeah, I know what to do. Yeah. But so shout outs to little Joe, if you're listening, man. I hope you are. Thanks for listening, and yeah. So with the outfit and the shirt and everything, man, yeah, people are down. So Take this opportunity to say thank you to everybody, of course, once again, as we always do this time. We appreciate all the loyalty, all the love, all the followings. Check our stories, our personal stories on Instagram, on Facebook, YouTube. Hit follow, smash that follow button. Hit like on everything. TikTok. That as well. Feel free. We're here, primosforlife.com. It'll give you a chance to see where we are, how you can get to us and listen to us. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody. We love and appreciate everything that is done, and that we're blessed to be able to come and do this, for you guys, and that we still have people who listen. So thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening and for taking the time to spend about 50 minutes with us. This was a good episode. This is a clean, quick episode. I feel like we did good. I feel like we're getting better at this, huh? Don't you think?
Well, we also didn't have to put 2 shows in one thing. It's tough when you have to squeeze 6 hours in to keep that show underneath an hour. We get through SmackDown in a quick preview, so it's relatively light work, which is great. Quick episodes. I think it's also probably a little easier for our viewers to take, just a 50-minute episode. But yeah, no, it was great, man. Always a pleasure to chat with you, brother. Great to see your face. I love you, man.
Yeah, man. You got an all right face too, man. Don't worry.
A face for radio is what they keep telling me.
Hey.
For podcasting, at least,
All right, pero como siempre, primo, you know what to do, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. We truly appreciate you for everything that you do for us, and we will see you when we see you.
Nos vemos. Ciao. Bye, everybody.